Welcome back to Retro Wednesday at the Tidarium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to be fixing some Joes. I've had these for 10, 15 years, and I'm going to put them together. I just put it off, put it off, put it off. Lately I've put probably about 20 or 30 of them back together. I think this is pretty much what I got left, and I'm going to put all these back together. We're going to fix some Joes. We're going to upgrade some of the ones in the display, and I'll show you an update on my display. But as we go along, I've got some topics. So we're going to do a few figures, and then as I'm just doing more, I'm going to discuss some of these discussion topics that are coming up on the channel, and then you'll be able to put in your input, like put in your input if you want to in the comments below, and that's always helpful for when it comes time to actually do those videos. But anyway, let's talk about some Joes, have some discussions. They're a little bit broader than just G.I. Joe, but a lot of it is going to be very centralized on G.I. Joe. Let's talk about this. Let's do this. Coming up. Right now, I did get this kit on Amazon, and I've got lots of the rubber bands. I kind of like these. They're a little smaller than I'm used to. I'm used to bigger ones like this is what I've been used to, but these actually make it a little bit easier, and I'll show why. But there's either one will work fine. They've also got these little T-bars included for 20 bucks. I got a bunch of stands. I bought it for the stands, but these were just included, and so I'm just showing it. But I will put a link to this little kit. It worked out pretty good. The little screwdriver is hard to get your grip on. I'm going to be using a bigger screwdriver, but it does work. And then it turns out the screws work for both the back and the leg, which actually I didn't know that till I was going through doing like 30 of these. I never really had a lot of leg problems. But let's get into the first one of these. So I'm starting with this HISS tank driver. I want to admit that I am not the best at this, and some of these figures are in decent shape, some aren't the greatest, but I'm still going to be doing it. And that's not his gun. I don't know why he doesn't really come with a gun. Maybe I just wanted to give him a gun. So I got most of these from this guy that in Oklahoma City, a memory market, and he was getting out of the game, and so I pretty much bought the rest of what he had. Okay, so this seriously does not want to give. So what I find is good is to pull on the arms and push on the head, and just give it some pressure, and then come around and do the opposite. Pull on the arms, push on the head until it gives. And so as we can see, it looks like maybe something has happened under here. So you'd probably, I'm just going to put this together real quick, but probably I would want to clean this real good, because I don't know what that is in there. But for the purposes of just this video, I'm just going to try to put this together really quick. But yeah, it would be good to give this a good cleaning, not knowing what the heck that blue stuff is that's in there. But then down here we've got dust on there. So this is kind of the fixing Joes. You'd want to try to clean them up as you go, and I'm just going through here. I wouldn't mind putting it in a little bath. I want to show with one of these smaller ones, which I don't have that many of them. I actually have more of the big fat ones. I'm just going to use what I have, but I found that I was able to just kind of shove them down in there with the thinner ones and grab that hook. In real time. Then it just grabs that hook, which usually I have to feed the band through because it's thick, and I really can't get the thick ones to grab that hook like that. So put it on the back here. I'm sure someone's going to be like, I've got a better process for that than what you're doing, which I don't know. I actually never watched anyone do this. I just remember how I did it as a kid, messing with it. I actually took a rubber band and spun it around real quick. But yeah, the guy at Memory Market where I got most of these from, pretty much all of this from, that's he's a pretty good guy. And so with that, you could replace the screw, or I'm just gonna put the original in. I like to keep things as original. But he sold me pretty much all of his figures that he had left, and I was pretty happy with that. And he was kind of getting out of the game, and so I really thought, well, you know, hey, I'm doing him a favor by buying some of his stuff. But I didn't know that he was terminally ill and he passed away, and I found that out like 6 months later. I was like, man, I wish I would have known. I would have just chatted with him a little bit more. I kind of got out of there because so many people were in there, and we did a deal. But and that really sucked. But anyway, the memory goes on with the toys that I display on the shelf, and that's just the way it works. All right, here we go. And which one is this? The clutch. Is the tan clutch? Is that what this is? And when it comes to these early ones, yeah, I'm gonna have a discussion about that. But do a couple of these, I'll start getting into some discussions. But see, you can't put the fat one over the hook very well because it's just too fat to fit over the hook. And I don't want to break his crotch. I don't want to break any of their crotches, so I'll get this thinner one, shove it over the hook, and it just goes over real fast and easy. So it was a happy accident that I ended up with these. I didn't even care that I was getting. I was like, oh, I got tons of rubber bands. It's no big deal. But they come in and they're smaller. It was easier. But these earlier ones, oh man, I'm not a fan at all. But I'll explain why here in a bit. So one of the things I didn't have I'll have to go get, if I have too bad of screws, I'm gonna go get sandpaper and sand them. That's another thing when you're fixing Joes, is to get either a new screw or sand the old one down if there's rust on it. There he goes. And where's his hat? So I think that makes him complete. He's actually in pretty good shape overall. Get his arms there, and boom, there he is. And he looks like he's going to stand pretty well. Does he stand okay? They're all going to be on stands too, so that's the thing. Just put them on stands. Let's go into Major Blood. Now he's different because he has no articulation in that arm. And I bet you I'm going to have a rusty screw. Looks like a rusty screw. So I will go acquire some paper. Now since, oh man, I don't know, it's pushing it. I don't want to break that crotch. That's another problem with this, is breaking the crotch. So you don't want to break the crotch. So put it in here and then kind of try to get that around the front of the frontal region of the crotch and work its way into there. That's the way I've always done it, which is quite time consuming. And there's the old one, so all these are going to go in the trash. Lots of fun. And boom. Now, one of the other problems is I'm using some of these old O-rings. I don't know how old they are either, because they kind of came with this stuff with my buddy's collection. So one of the collections I got was my buddy Phillips in 2020. I bought his whole collection. And then I have other collections, so I've probably bought about 15 toy collections, you know, people's entire childhoods over the decades. And so I did sell off a lot of stuff in 2018, which I thought it was everything I had except for my actual childhood stuff. And with that, I wish I wouldn't have. And people on the channel said, "You're gonna regret that." And let me go get some sandpaper. Magic. I've been using this sandpaper for a lot of different projects, but man, I've been doing a lot of projects lately. Monopolizes my time. But I just kind of give it a little sanding. I'm sure that doesn't sound good on the camera, but I'm not sure how that shows up, but it looks a lot better. I mean, deep inside there, if I sand it, and I'm pretty happy with that one. If I wasn't happy with it, I would just probably just grab a new one, because I have new ones, but it doesn't look like a big deal. Screw it in. And some of these figures are going to upgrade what I've got. Then some are not, so that's kind of where I'm at. And alright, we got him, put his backpack on. I've got a gun for him somewhere, and he stands good. Another thing about these bands is it's going to make them stand better. If their legs are loosey-goosey in the hip area, they'll stand better. Alright, now this is where things shift, and we're going to be doing some different stuff. At the same time, we're going to start these discussions. So Lifeline is an upgrade candidate, so meaning that I'm going to upgrade the figure himself, and I've got one in there. But the problem with this guy is he's got a broken crotch. So what I have to do is say, like, what's the best torso? And that's a pretty decent torso that's on him, versus like this one here, which isn't a bad torso. So I've got three pretty good ones. The crotch is unbroken, so it doesn't really matter how good it is. I'm going to use it. And then getting to the legs, which legs look the best? And I really think that ones that are, so really I just need to change his crotch and then put these other ones together. Alright, so the first discussion topic is going to be, is it more fun to collect what you had back in the day? So recollecting all the figures you had, just like I only had these 12 G.I. Joes, that's the only 12 I'm going to buy. Or is it more fun to collect the stuff you never had, that you always wanted? And so that's a tough one, because I think everybody really gets into collecting and thinks about wanting to get back what they had. Or if they get modern representations, they want modern representations of what they had. And with that, I think that it's one of those things right away. Yeah, the first thing that you kind of want to do is collect the stuff that you had, and you want to get that back. And then whenever you kind of get all that, you realize, man, I would have always kind of wanted a Firefly, but I never had one. Man, I'm having trouble getting that through there without breaking it. That's not wanting to get through there. Work that one off camera real quick. The thing is that you will get to a point, or at least I did, where either, hey, I'm satisfied that's the 12 figures that I had as a kid and I'm happy and I don't want anything else, or it's like, man, that Firefly, that Cobra Commander, like it really was a long time into collecting it. I got garage sales 3 or 4 years later before I got myself a Cobra Commander with the face mask. I had the hooded one. We're going to do a hooded Cobra Commander here in a bit, but here we go. Let's get him looking good. He's looking good. Yeah, let's see how his screw looks. It's a nice looking screw, but there we go. But it's also fun. It's fun collecting the stuff you didn't have. Like, I think about that. Like, I didn't have a Cobra Commander as a kid, and then, you know, now I'm getting into some figures that I never had before back in the day, and I'm really kind of enjoying all that. That's kind of fun. And with that, it's with G.I. Joe and like collecting stuff, even my personal stuff I'm missing, but the one I had from my childhood, I'm not messing with any of that. None of that's on display. That's all stashed away. I'm actually only displaying stuff I've gotten as an adult collector as display. My other stuff is always going to stay in there, but I will when I'm done, like getting my stuff collected and my shelf together. I'm going to go ahead and get more parts to make those ones complete too, because whatever I'm lacking from the childhood ones. So I got quite a bit going on with the Joe collecting there. Here we go. And then we have 2 of these, and this one, the other one I had, the alternate one, is a little wider, and there he goes. Then we have another problem with him, but let's get these put together first. Alright, so here these all are put together. The ones with broken crotches were way easier to put together. This is the second best one and the third best one. Now, I want to point out that I've got 4 guns here. They are, as I get guns that I think are lifelines, I throw them in there, and I keep thinking, like, which one's going to work for a, what do you call it? What's his name? Admiral Keelhaul? Is this a Keelhaul gun? I don't know. I don't know what the Keelhaul gun, if that's really, that's too big. It's too big for a Joe gun, but it looks like the same style of gun as Keelhaul. Come on, stand up. He's not standing up. But I think these are the ones, so I'm going to go with these for Lifeline. Am I wrong? Is that not Lifeline's gun? Whose gun is this? I don't know. But I'm sure I'll find out. It's a cool looking gun. Next up, we've got DJ. I want to say the next topic of discussion is going to be classified sparking vintage interest. And I really think that's truly happening. People get excited about classified because classified it's something you can get at the store most of the time, sometimes. And it's something that you're probably going to see as a representation of your vintage figure, but then you're like, man, I really do want that vintage figure. And so I think what really kind of brings that back, harkens that back for me, is Road Pig. And with Road Pig being, I loved that figure back in the day, and then classified usually kind of sparks it going, yeah, it's pretty close. With Road Pig, I was like, man, I appreciate the vintage one way more after that Road Pig came out, or the pictures of it. Now I'm still going to eventually get a classified Road Pig, but it made me want to do more with my vintage Road Pig. I actually like the look of that one better, and I don't know how they'd be able to pull off a retro now that they've veered so far from. Let's bring this up a bit. And I'll show you I got paint all over my hands. Can't quite get it off my nails as well as I should be able to, but we'll be seeing that here at the end when I show where the display's going. Okay, so this is another tactic that I use, is to get the arms in. And we kind of have the arms and the torso together. This one's giving me some trouble. Bend it back, expose all of the connection points. It should just go right together. There it is. I wonder if it has anything to do with the way that hole there. And then, no way, did I break his crotch doing this? Son of a biscuit. This is a filler figure anyway. This thing is rough anyway, so I'm not mad. I'm not going to cry about it. Man, I broke his crotch on camera. Dang it. Well, the thing is, though, that this thing's discolored, and you can tell this thing has not been stored well. And with that, it's a filler. And it's fine. I'm okay with the filler. Especially, I never really don't remember much of him. His backpack's broken. He's got all kinds of problems here. But anyhow, he also comes with some connector pieces that you're supposed to be able to connect this to like the backpack or something. I'll have to look that up, and I actually don't know because I'll show you. I never opened my vintage one. I just thought this was a lame looking figure, but look at that minifigure. That's kind of cool. But lame figure. There's the cord with the little connector pieces. So yeah, he's gonna be a filler. I'll get a better one down the road. Just man, broke his crotch. That sucks. Anyway, we'll move on. Broken crotch. This is Shockwave, and I'm going to talk about the Posers video. I've been putting that one off. I think the problem with that video, it's supposed to be funny and laughing at kind of silly things that we do as A, collectors, and B, people on the YouTubes. But the problem is that a lot of people are going to take offense to that, and I'm not going to call out anyone by name, but everyone's going to know pretty much who I'm talking about whenever I talk about each one of the points. And then I don't want to be negative. I just want to be funny about it. And the thing is that I'm guilty of almost all of it myself. So I feel like someone like myself who's guilty of the same things, the same sins, can talk about it, can bring it to light. And, people shouldn't get upset. But people will get upset. I mean, that's the internet. That's the YouTubes. Everyone's going to get mad about something. And I'm just talking about stuff that really happens. This is the stuff that happens every single day. And we do it. And some people don't like that. Some people just like you in the fake little world that we live in. No, this is reality, bruh. Reality is this is a Shockwave. Night Force. And this is, I think, my only Night Force figure I have. I didn't really get into the Night Force stuff. Let's give him a little cleaning on his. But yeah. Well, this is going to take longer than I thought, so I'll probably have to speed through this just a little bit. And just do probably 2 more figures on camera, and then do a couple of different figures, and then move into looking at the collection. What's going on there? So I'm not exactly sure how I ended up with the ragtag group of parts for this guy here, but I know that I have every part I need to build him. I'm just not exactly sure how it came to be. And with that, I am going to just build the guy. Now he's got a good crotch, and so this is one of those. I don't know. I don't really think that the hooded Coco is nearly as in demand as the light blue one, because this is a mail away that I think everybody mailed away for, and I bet you my grandma mailed away for like 2 or 3 of them. When I go into the wrong side, it's facing the rear. But this is my Cobra Commander, really. This is the only one I had to play with as a kid until I was almost done. And so when I was done with Joe, and I picked up a huge lot at a garage sale, I finally got my first shield-plated Cobra Commander. And we're talking the era when the armored Cobra Commander was on the shelf, and I didn't care about that armored Cobra Commander, but oh man, what happened there? Well, I'm not lining it up just right. Looking like I'm all thumbs right now. Let's get this going. Just had to take it off camera for just a second to line things up, and then I'm going to take it out of alignment, I'm sure, as soon as I get right back on camera here. There we go. He's lined up. He's looking pretty good, actually. Let's get him some light here. The light, the angle of the light, sometimes it's too washed out. But I like his Cobra symbol, but his gold is a little worn on this particular figure. And there he is. This one is going to go into the collection. We're going to see a little adding to the collection here in just a bit. And let's see what else I wanted to work on. One more figure that we're going to add to the collection. And that one is going to be the Televiper. I think I got him complete here. And we'll do him, and then I guess we'll go add some stuff to the collection. I'll show you what I'm working on with displays. Wow, that crunchy sound. That did not sound good. See, it's kind of why I was doing this. You can hear the real sounds. What's the other one I was talking about? Paperwork. Well, I'll skip that. The Neon 90s. Yeah, let's talk about that. That's going to be something I talk about. The Neon 90s. A lot of people really speak negatively about the 90s era. And I think that's just because most of us were aged out. I mean, the vast majority of Joe fans were aged out by then. And they threw everything at the wall. The 90s has some really cool stuff that I didn't realize until not too long ago. But they have the, what is it called? Battle copters. Which, it's a ripcord kind of thing. And you pull it and it flies. I don't even know how they work. I just saw them and I thought that's cool. And then there's the, what else they got? They got a lot of cool stuff. Now I'm starting to wonder if this is going to screw back in. I am starting to wonder, is that screw going to hold? Well, it's going to have to. Man, I don't even have this guy in my collection, so this is going to have to work. If it doesn't work, I don't know what's going to happen. Alright, put this in here. They had the Air Commanders, which were kind of interesting. The stuff's expensive, though. And then they had the Eco Warriors, which they're pretty reasonably priced. I think they made plenty of the Eco Warriors. And then it's just some different stuff that they did. But the neon, not everything is bright neon, by the way. It's just they made a lot of stuff that was bright neon. Come on. Let's do some magic here. There's some magic. Let's see if it sticks together. I'm not against gluing it, to tell you the truth. If this doesn't hold it together, I don't really care. It's just something on my shelf that it just needs to work. But screw in. What's going on? There it goes. Yeah, it's holding together, so I guess it's fine. I guess I worry about nothing. Plug this into the back. His head's a little loose. And then the way I view this character, I'm going to have to plug his cord in. But there he is. He looks pretty good. And let's see. There it is. So I'm not really sure exactly how this is going to show up, but here is the display, kind of what I got going on right now. And this is from a strange angle. Let's get a better angle. So here it is sort of straight on, and I'm going to kind of go by year with this. And this is 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, and I'll show here in a bit. I'm working on all the other years, but as I put them up there, but I'm trying to upgrade these before, because it's going to be harder to get them off. And when I do videos, I'm like the entire year, I have to take a lot off to get to it, but I've been kind of figuring out how to put these in here to maximize the space and to still be able to see each one. So that is the challenge with my display, and always some work there, but I'll of course keep working on that over and over. Here is Lifeline. I had him back here. Hope I don't knock a bunch of stuff over putting him away. I probably will. He's bulky. Get in there. There he goes. Slowly but surely. And then I want to show this. So the one on the left was the one I had. Does it show? It was real kind of dingy. So the one I had that needed to get put together, I picked all the best parts. And so I don't know. The camera doesn't show it. Maybe it'll show it better when I get into the editor. This doesn't need a stand because he's got, the cool thing about Torpedo is that he's got his feet there. And then we got to get this, I got to look up the year he went into gray. I think he was 83. He's not gray, he's tan, and he's 1984. I'm going to stick him right in here. And I'm just going to leave timber right there. And then we're going to get into needing to put Mutt away, which I don't have all his parts. Wait, I got his gun right here. So one of the things I just try to make things easier is to put figures that I know I'm going to put them in kind of an order where I can get them out. And then I'm going to have Junkyard in the front too when I get around to that. But putting these away, so this is kind of what I'm just doing with all of this. And then I'm working on this. Got them, just kind of working on them as we go. And then obviously future stuff going there. But as I go through and make sure they got all the parts and pieces and swap them out before I put them on the shelf because it's much harder to get them out of there. But we got, what are we up to? 87, 88, 89, that kind of stuff. So here's a straight on look at the Cobra. Lighting is pretty dark over here, although I see it just fine even without the bright light of the camera. But yeah, I'm gonna add a couple here. This is far from being anywhere near done. This is just simply kind of getting an idea of how I'm gonna do it. But of course, I'm going to do it by year and all that kind of stuff. So that's, and these aren't even all my best ones up here. I have to do the same thing. I'm just working on the Joe shelf first, and then I'll come over here and do, as I'm going, I do the Cobra stuff. But I'm really not fully committed to the Cobra section yet because I'm wanting to get all the Joes knocked out and then work on the Cobra stuff. And I think that, like, do one display, then do the next display, and I think that's the best way to go. But you know, Cobra. Sure, hope you enjoyed this Retro Wednesday where I kind of fixed some figures, and as you can see, when I was off camera, I did a whole lot more than I think I did 3 times the number in half the time when the camera wasn't rolling. So if you think I suck at this, well, I still suck at this. But anyway, next week I'm going to be back with some paperwork. A buddy of mine saved all of his card backs and every scrap of paper, every flag point, everything. So we'll be looking at the paperwork next week. But let me know what you guys think about this. What do you think about the discussions that I had during this video? And the fixing of the Joes, which is kind of like a fun side thing. Thanks for just making this mundane, boring task a little bit more fun. You're going to see that I'm filming this before I put these in the display. But I'm going to show the display. But what do you think of the display? Like, subscribe, share, hang out.
You will never see the scientists again.
Kidnapping? You've hit a new low, Commander.
Where do you expect us to get $60 billion?
Relax, guys. We'll just put it on my credit card. I never leave home with...
Enough of this